we do have ourselves a spread of between 8 to 8.5, with the OKC Thunder being the favorite here in game number 7. And total's quite a bit lower than we've been finding all throughout this series. The closing total in a lot of places for this game number 6 was between 222.5 to 223.5, and now we are down to, in a lot of places, between about a 215 to a 215.5. So a full 7.5 to 8 point drop in regards to this total. And I did take a look at this spot, and I do think that you've got some relatively solid value on the prop front, because I just want to be able to bet this in game. What I've been taking a look at all throughout the postseason is team that gets down going into the fourth quarter, being able to bet them live. It's been working out really, really well. Even with the OKC Thunder here in game number 6, they did win the fourth quarter by 13 points. So they were able to, at the very least, atone for going down 30 by losing by 17 to be able to give you a little bit of window dressing there. But when I take a look at this prop front, I think that it's interesting to look at these, shall we say, role players and just be able to fade them. Because with the role players, you saw a lot of them be able to go over their player prop in game number 6. I just can't foresee a case where we have a blowout where any team is going to be conceding. Like, even if the Indiana Pacers are down like 15, 17 points with like 4 or so minutes remaining, they're still going to be batting down the hatches, doing everything humanly possible to be able to have that late game comeback and try to be able to create a little bit of magic. You just don't go that far to be able to go that far. So I'd be looking at these guys like an Isaiah Joe for the OKC Thunder. Maybe you take a look at like a TJ McConnell, even though he does play some pretty solid minutes off the bench for the Indiana Pacers. Those are the guys I'm looking at a little bit more for the under. Now, the one guy that I won't be is Ben Mathurin. Mathurin just had his player prop set way too high for my liking in game number 6. That was a big response to the Tyrese Halliburton injury, and Halliburton looked really good here in game number 6. He didn't have to have a ton of minutes racked up, so I do think that that is going to be able to yield a little bit of value for you moving forward with the Indiana Pacers as well. I think that he's going to be just fine in game number 7 because, I mean, again, he was able to look just fine here in game number 6, so we got, in my opinion, a interesting case here with the Indiana Pacers where I'm going to be taking a look at what we're going to be getting in terms of the unders a little bit more with Pascal Siakam. I do think that the OKC Thunder going to hone on him a little bit, and I think that for the OKC Thunder, they look to go a little bit bigger as well. We saw Miles Turner be just completely neutralized here in game number 6, pretty much the only guy that got neutralized in game number 6, 3 more points than myself, really didn't rack up a lot of rebounds, but I think Isaiah Hartenstein, being able to get over 6.5 rebounds on him, you're able to get that in the neighborhood of about a minus 105, minus 110. That's a good look. I just can't get over like 10.5, even 9.5 rebounds with Chet Holmgren. I'm just not sure what you're going to be able to get out of him, though I know that he's going to be playing a lot of minutes. A lot of times he's able to impact the game without scoring or grabbing a whole bunch of rebounds, and just his overall length is able to be a disruption out there. So he's a little bit of an interesting case study, but I do think that in the end, you are going to be able to get quite a few of these guys to be able to yield a little bit of value with regards to going under in terms of more of the ancillary players, looking at Ben Mathurin with regards to his over, with regards to his points, and Isaiah Hartenstein to go over on rebounds. That's where I'm looking right now. Might add a little bit to the card once again going into the game on Sunday, since this is all very fresh. Just a few hours ago, we saw the Indiana Pacers actually host the OKC Thunder, but also for the OKC Thunder, note this is a straight up record, but 18-2 coming off of a loss thus far this season. So they have responded very well there. And how about if we respond very well to what is going to be a great card in baseball on Friday, right here on Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. And how about if we get you guys some great bets on this card, as we've got this all powered by G-Bank. G-Bank is introducing their trifecta. It is a $500 trifecta where you've got G-Bank, First Bet, and VSiN all coming together. All you need to do is open up a G-Bank Visa signature card, and in the first 90 days, deposit and play through $1,000 over at First Bet to trigger the trifecta. You'll receive a $200 cashback reward on your G-Bank Visa signature card. First Bet, they're going to give you a $100 deposit match, and then VSiN, they are able to finish off the trifecta with giving you a VSiN Pro subscription through October 31st of a $200 value, and that is the $500 trifecta over at G-Bank, First Bank, GBank first bet and VSiN. Head on over to VSiN.com/GBank. That is VSIN.com/GBank. This is a one-time promotion that is limited to customers opening up a new account in response to the software, and this will not apply to requests to convert existing accounts. Apply today. Terms and conditions, they do apply. How about if we hit upon a game that I've not yet talked about, but did make my VSiN write-ups for the article on Friday? This is the Red Sox and the San Francisco Giants. Going to be the late game out there as the Giants right around minus 120 to minus 130 or so favorites. You got a small plus number about plus 110 to plus 112 on Boston. Total of 7.5. I really like what I've seen out of Hayden Birdsong. He does a nice job mowing them down. 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, and he's backed up by a San Francisco Giants bullpen that has been second to none this season. About a 2.62 ERA. That is number one in the big leagues. So many guys that you're able to mix and match with, like Tyler Rogers, Eric Miller, Camilo Doval, and Camilo Doval has looked much better than he did a season ago, by the way, but all these guys doing a nice job holding it down. And now for the San Francisco Giants, they've got the man that was on the Boston Red Sox at this time last week in Rafael Devers. Do think that his power numbers overall are going to go down, because when you go from Boston to San Francisco, that's quite a bit of a culture shock in terms of the way that you try to slug out the deep ball. But Devers still giving you 400 on base. Going to be a nice, shall we say, a spark plug for the San Francisco Giants offense, one that they really needed him, especially with Matt Chapman currently on the injured list. And for Hunter Dobbins, he's been solid in terms of not hurting himself. He's getting about 1.8 walks per 9 innings, giving up 1 home run per 9, but he's also not a strikeout artist. About 6.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. Ball very much is in play on him. Now the Red Sox bullpen, it's been pretty solid. Brandon Bernardino has been giving up a few runs, but Garrett Woodlock in a long roll, about a 3 ERA. You've had Aroldis Chapman be an ageless wonder, north of 12 strikeouts per 9 innings, but I do think that for Dobbins, he gets hit a little bit more, and I do think that this Giants team, who's been a little bit hot and cold with regards to their lineup this year, Devers is exactly what they needed. Did set my total 7.8, like the over, and I do like the San Francisco Giants on the money line. This is a game that I think is going to be of great intrigue as well. Was promising Tigers versus the Rays. We failed to deliver on the last segment, but we've got it here. Right now with the Tigers, they're right around about minus 105 to minus 110 favorites, very slim favorites. Total is an 8.5, and I just like Captain Jack Flaherty in this spot. Flaherty north of 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. Now, he is backed up by a Tigers bullpen that has honestly been a little bit shaky recently, but you still have the top guys doing a really good job. Brian Herter, who you're able to utilize as an opener, has been able to give you a sub-3 ERA, along with someone like a Chase Lee. Brendan Hennefy has been a little bit of a roll of the dice, and you do have Olves right now deal with a tad bit of an injury, but for the Tigers, you've also got a top 7 team in terms of runs per game. Trio of guys give you at least 13 home runs. Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, Spencer Torkelson, and they get to go up against a guy, Mr. Boz, Shane Boz, who's given up 3+ runs in 6 out of his last 8 starts, and I like Shane Boz. Shane Boz, I do think, has quite a bit of upside. He's dealt with a lot of major surgery over the last few seasons, but you know what? I do think that for the Boz, he's going to have a little bit of a tough time here with the Tigers, and I to the credit of the Rays. Top 16, once again, with regards to their bullpen ERA. So many guys like Garrett Clevenger, Manuel Rodriguez, Eric Orze, Pete Fairbanks, giving you a sub-3 ERA. And to the credit of the Rays, they're now a top 10 team in terms of runs per game as well. Junior Caminero, Brandon Lau, 30+ home runs between these two guys. Yandy Diaz is up to a double-figure amount of bombs. He's been hitting 300+ over the last 30 days as well. So these guys are starting to ascend a little bit for this team, but do you think that Flaherty in the end gives a better start? I like the Tigers on the money line, and I do like this total over as well. And then one last one to hit. You've got the St. Louis Cardinals with them going with Andre 3000 Palante going against Brady Singer and the Cincinnati Reds. And being able to get the Cincinnati Reds at a plus 120 or higher, I'm going to be looking there. Palante is just not a guy that I'm very bullish on. He gives you fewer than 6.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's been walking north of 3 guys per 9 innings, giving up the deep ball quite a bit more this season. And for Brady Singer, 3 runs or fewer allowed, and now 5 out of his last 6 starts. I do think that he holds it down for the Cincinnati Reds team. Now, I did set my total a little bit below 9, so I'm going to be willing to take a shot on that under, but I'm also going to be in on the money line here of the Cincinnati Reds.